My name's Matthew O'Neill. I'm a researcher at Queen's University of Belfast. I'm also the chair of Integrated Alumni. Well, I stayed here first of all because it was home. I didn't want to leave home. I've been given an awful lot of different opportunities and I wanted to make sure I was here a part of the solution in trying to make this place work. We've been left a great legacy of the Good Friday Agreement, but there's still an awful lot of minor or smaller elements that needs to be unpacked. And if you want to create change and be a part of that change, you have to stay in this place and work. So I remember the Christmas lights being turned on in Belfast. The only thing I remember distinctly is looking up at my mother's face and seeing an expression I've never seen before. She felt that for the first time she lived in a place that she could give her two kids a chance that they can take a hold of. When you go to an integrated school, the Good Friday Agreement's sort of always there in a way. And we used to have peace days, specific days that we would come in and we would try and unpack what symbols meant to each other, what they meant to their identity. Young people, community groups, average citizens do an awful lot of that work that I think gets taken for granted. And we did that. And so we were living that legacy every year it came around. Every year we had a peace day and we'd bring different items in to talk about them. We would learn about the multitude of faiths. We would do social and moral understandings of each other and unpack that. And you were aware it was post-conflict. We wouldn't have used that language as teenagers, but you understood the emotions that people would have had and the conversations they would have had. Integrated education is something that's an incredibly passionate thing for me because it is my honest belief if I did not get an integrated education, I do not think I would have been afforded the opportunities granted to me. I think my life would have went in a completely different direction. I was very fortunate that, interestingly, the European Union gave an awful lot of money towards integrated education, and specifically actually to students with learning development. I have severe dyslexia, so I was able to actually get an awful lot of support and aid. If I didn't have that, I don't know how I'd have managed that, and I don't know if I'd be here speaking to you even right now. There's nobody here that you can speak to that haven't lived in an area that has not been impacted or touched in some way by the conflict. The impact of Northern Ireland leaving the EU has clearly had in terms of funding. I think that's often forgotten now, 25 years on from the Good Friday Agreement, and without that funding, we've impacted most of all rural communities along the border, and here in Belfast, what I would say would be forgotten communities. Those pockets of working class people that have not had the full benefits of peace yet, who would have gotten community funds to support their projects or engagement or different forms of support that they were able to get to do an awful lot of that groundwork. Because I think one thing we definitely forgot since the Good Friday Agreement beforehand, community work, community engagements, those were people that were doing the real peacemaking back in the day, and they're doing the real peace building as we move forward now. And that EU funding recognised that, and that's something we've lost and have to really work towards getting again. If not, it's something that is at risk of being lost.
And lastly, what are your hopes for the next 25 years for Northern Ireland?
I was very fortunate that I went to the Mitchell Institute, and Senator Mitchell would come often to speak to students. And he often said that the Good Friday Agreement wasn't a static document, it's a constant thing that moves forward. My hope is that we realise it isn't one static thing. We empower all three strands. It's very easy to forget that we're all human, we all live and breathe the same air, and that we all have common purpose in that we want to have a better society for all, and realise we can do better. We've done amazing things in the past, we can definitely do amazing things for the future.